शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। ॐ सिन्दूरारुणविग्रहां त्रिनयनां माणिक्यमौलिस्फुरत्तारानायकशेखरां स्मितमुखीमापीनवक्षोरुहां पाणिभ्यां मलिपूर्णरत्नचषकं रक्तोत्पलं बिभ्रतीं सौम्यां रत्नघटस्थरक्तचरणां ध्यायेत् परामम्बिकाम्। ॐ ध्यायेन्नित्यं महेशं रजतगिरिनिभं चारुचन्द्रावतंसं रत्नाकल्पोज्ज्वलाङ्गं परशुमृगवराभीतिहस्तं प्रसन्नं पद्मासीनं समन्तात् स्तुतममरगणैः व्याघ्रकृत्यं वसानं विश्वाद्यं विश्वबीजं निखिलभयहरं पञ्चवक्त्रं त्रिनेत्रम्। ॐ नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्ससुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत्।
धृतराष्ट्र उवाच धर्मक्षेत्रे कुरुक्षेत्रे समवेतायुयुत्सवः मामकाः पाण्डवाश्चैव किमकुर्वत सञ्जय। श्रीभगवानुवाच क्लैब्यं मास्मगमः पार्थ नैतत्त्वय्युपपद्यते क्षुद्रं हृदय दौर्बल्यं त्यक्त्वोत्तिष्ठ परन्तप। यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानमधर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम्। परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे। वीतराग भयक्रोध मन्मया माम् उपाश्रिताः बहवो ज्ञानतपसा पूता मद्भावमागताः। कर्मणि अकर्म यः पश्येत् अकर्मणि च कर्म यः स बुद्धिमान् मनुष्येषु स युक्तः कृत्स्नकर्मकृत्। ब्रह्मार्पणं ब्रह्महविर्ब्रह्माग्नौ ब्रह्मणाहुतं ब्रह्मैव तेन गन्तव्यं ब्रह्मकर्म समाधिना। श्रेयान् द्रव्यमयाद्यज्ञात् ज्ञानयज्ञः परन्तप सर्वं कर्म अखिलं पार्थ ज्ञाने परिसमाप्यते तत्विद्धि प्रणिपातेन परिप्रश्नेन सेवया उपदेक्ष्यन्ति ते ज्ञानम् ज्ञानिनः तत्त्वदर्शिनः यज्ञात्वा न पुनर्मोहम् एवं यास्यसि पाण्डव येन भूतान्यशेषेण द्रक्ष्यसि आत्मनि अथो मयि तस्मात् अज्ञानसम्भूतं हृत्स्थं ज्ञानासीनात्मनः छित्त्वैनं संशयं योगम् आतिष्ठोत्तिष्ठ भारत न कर्तृत्वं न कर्माणि लोकस्य सृजति प्रभुः न कर्मफलसंयोगं स्वभावस्तु प्रवर्तते नादत्ते कस्यचित् पापं न चैव सुकृतं विभुः अज्ञानेनावृतं ज्ञानं तेन मुह्यन्ति जन्तवः ये हि संस्पर्शजा भोगा दुःखयोनय एव ते आद्यन्तवन्तः कौन्तेय न तेषु रमते बुधः
Very nice. Acha. So we are starting a new chapter, is that right?
8.
Ashtamo Adhyayah. So this is supposed to be Brahma Yoga. Taraka Brahma Yogo Nama Ashtamo Adhyaya. Taraka Brahma Yoga. Translated as Yoga of Concentration. So let's begin. Since we are now in the well in the middle of the Bhagavad Gita. So last week finished was Jnana Vijnana Yoga. Now, Te Brahma Tad Vidu Kritsnam. 7. From chapter 7. We already saw that. Where was that one? 729. Jara Marana Mokshaya Mam Ashritya Yatanti Ye Te Brahma Tad Viduhu Kritsnam Adhyatmam Karma Chakilam. So those who strive for release from Jara, old age, Maranam, Mam Ashritya, resorting to be Yatantiye, who strive, Yatanti is striving. Te Brahma Tad Viduhu, they come to know that Brahman in its on all its wholeness, Kritsnam, Adhyatmam, also the self, and all works, Karma Chakilam. So Bhagavan Sri Shankaracharya is referring to that one. Te Brahma Tad Vidu Kritsnam. Ityadina Bhagavata Arjunasya Prashna Bijani Upadishtani. In 729, the Lord placed before Arjuna moot points that provoked questions. Ataha Tat Prashnartham Arjuna Uvacha. Hence, Arjuna spoke, raising appropriate questions. So, who is going to read 801?
I can go.
Please.
Kim tad brahma kimadhyatam. Kim tad brahma kimadhyatmam. Kim karma purushottamam. Adhibhutam cha kim proktam. Adhidaivam kimuchyate.
Thank you. Yes. Arjuna Uvacha. So, this is a good question that he's going to raise. Kim Tad Brahma. What is that Brahman? Kim Adhyatmam. What is this inner self? Kim Karma. What is work? Purushottama. O highest spirit. Adhibhutam Chakim. Luckily, we translated this one, chief divinity, principal divinity. Who is said to be that, Adhibhutam is elements, and Adhidaivam is principal divinity. What are these elements? What are the divinities? So, what is very good about this question is, Arjuna shows that as the true aspirant, he wants to really know what the teacher is meaning by the specific word, right? Because words, as we know, how do words work? You know, there is a science of semiotics, and where the sign and the signifier, they studied this in modern, linguistic theory, I think. Allied with linguistics is a whole branch by itself called semiotics. And there was a very famous French, it really borders on philosophy, Saussure, and then more recently one guy, Derrida, who wrote a lot about deconstruction. But actually the elements of this are, in my humble opinion, already there in our Vedic thought. That may seem a little bit of a stretch, but I think it's true. Why do I say that? At least to a naive, I mean, I'm not trying to say that I can write a treatise on semiotics because of that. But from a lay person's point of view, the building blocks are already there, right? So, because right from the beginning, if we analyze, how do we know the world? We know the world because we associate a word with a symbol. Nama Rupam. Very fundamental concept in our philosophy is Nama Rupam. So again and again, you know, when as a child, you take the word tree. So you write this Tree. And after all, actually, even the other day we were reading in that Sandhya Vandanam book, you know, what is any language? It's just a bunch of symbols. Mm-hmm. Correct? Why can't I call a tree Love? I can call a tree love tomorrow if I want, right? Can anybody come and stop me? Nobody can come and stop me, right? But I will not communicate very well to most people, maybe, right? Okay. So, but it's a bit humorous, but it's good, right? We should have some humor and fun also. So, but think about this. So the construct of language, which we take for granted, right, is a construct, right? We put these symbols. As a kid, we teach the child, and then you'll get the ruler also. How come you said cat or Kate or whatever, right? How much drilling we do. So we drill the child through all this only to the end. Now you come here and I say you have to unlearn all this, forget it. It's a bit of an irony and humor to that, but I hope it's not lost on you. Right? So anyway, so all this danda, learn this language, tarara, and then what does that do in the mind? Every time you see that form through the senses, there is a library, and because the danda has fallen many times, now you will not say love for tree, right? And so you will say, when you see the tree, you say tree, and you don't say love. Okay. So now this association, correct? Now already we also know that with the advent of slang is actually a very good one to take, right? So in slang, what do? We take a word which has a common meaning, and especially young people, when they go to college, you know, they like to, the whole cool thing is to be anti-establishment. You associate a new meaning to that word. Isn't that really fun? And that way you just upend the whole universe, right? It's so cool, right? And there's a great joy in it, because now you're showing that you're independent, and you can, and then you have this little group. Only everybody in the group knows the meaning of the word, right? So, and that's fun. So imagine when you look at these things in a perspective, you understand so much about life, right? So now what you've done is you've created this cool new group, and the new group knows only exactly what the meaning of that word is, right? And that's why if you know it, you're in the cool group. If you're not, then you're one of those left out chaps, right? But so what Arjuna is saying is, oh Bhagavan, you want me to learn, be in the cool group. Now tell me, what do these words mean? Right? I have been thinking they mean something. Please let me into this cool group. Right? And so he's a very smart guy, because if you're a guy who just assumes, that this word means that, and that guy gives you something else, right? Huh? And then it will be a complete mismatch, right? You agree, right? So you have to know whom you're asking what, right? If you know the right thing, then you can get the right product. So Arjuna is displaying great intelligence here. He's saying, first you tell me what all these things are, and then let me decide whether what you're saying makes any sense or not. So that Brahman, and that's right, because Brahman, we read Brahman, okay, you read it in a book, you read it 1,000 times in the Upanishad, but at the end of the day, what does this person mean by this Brahma, right? What is this Brahma? Kim Adhyatma, what is this inner self? Because again, Arjuna is leaving open the possibility that because of his karma and his past knowledge, he may have a wrong notion about these words, right? Because if he knew exactly what Bhagavan is saying, why would he ask the question? Right? What need is there to ask a question, right? If you know exactly what it means already, right? So he's asking very correctly, Kim karma? What is work? We will, in fact, that has to be the topic of my next video, to introduce Karma Yoga, right? Because, how many times have you heard, you go and talk to somebody, oh, that man, he's a great Karma Yogi. He only goes and does his work without any desire for anything. Have you heard this or not? Right? इतने वो साधु हैं, संत हैं, वो बस काम में ही करते रहते हैं, वही काम करते रहते हैं, उनको तो कुछ इच्छा भी नहीं है, desire भी नहीं. And I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's better than probably doing it with a lot of desire, undoubtedly. But is that the karma that is referred to in the Bhagavad Gita, or when we read when we say karma kand in the Ved? If you went and asked Bhagavan Sri Shankaracharya, he said, what karma is this you're talking about that he is doing? The frame of reference is completely different, right? Later we will learn in the Bhagavad Gita, karma is jnana, yajna, dana and tap. Yajna hai, karma hai. Dan, karma hai. Tap, karma hai. All else is not karma other than that, right? In their definition, right? So one has to be careful how we learn this. So what is work? O highest spirit, Purushottama, Adhibhutam Chakim. What are the elements and what is this? Divinities. Then next one, please. The question continues.
I can. Yes, Mahesh, continue. Sorry. Adi yajnah katham kotra dehesmin madhusudana prayana kale cha katham geyo si nitya atma bhihi.
Very good. I can see, I'm really happy that everybody is reading, because I can see the confidence improving now. Huh? Very good, very good. Adi yajnah katham koatra dehe asmin madhusudana prayana kale cha katham gyeyosi nityat atmabhihi. Niyat atmabhihi, sorry. Niyat atmabhihi. So adi yajnah katham. The English translation, Madhusudana, slayer of Madhu, addressed in vocative case. Who in this body, katham ko kaha atra, who in this body operates the sacrifices? Ko atra adhiyajnaha, katham, and how? Who in this body operates the sacrifices and how? Prayana kalecha, at the time of departure, katham, how, jnyaha, are you to be known, asi, by the niyata atmabhi, by the self-control yogis. Who is operating the sacrifices and how inside, and how should one know you at the time of departure? By the self-control yogis. Esham prashnanam yatha kramam nirnayaya Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. In order to definitively answer in their order, yathakramam, in that order, nirnayaya, so that it is without any doubt, definitive. The blessed Lord said, Bhagavan Uvacha. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. Who is going to read 3 now?
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Aksharam Brahma Paramam Svabhavodhyatmamuchyate Bhuta Bhavodbhava Karo Visargah Karma Sangitah.
Very nice. Aksharam Brahma. Beautiful definition. Supreme Brahman is imperishable. That which does not perish is Brahman. Paramam, Supreme Brahman, Paramam Brahman is Aksharam. Swabhavaha Adhyatma Uchyate. The very inner nature, self as spirit, is the subject. Inner self is spirit as subject. So let us see. Aksharam na ksharati iti aksharam paramatma etasya va aksharasya prashasane gargi. This is in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Iti shrutehe etasya va aksharasya prashasane gargi. Addressing Gargi, this is this extolling the virtues of the imperishable. Correct? Omkarasya cha Om iti eka aksharam Brahma. Right? Iti parena visheshana agrahanam. Paramam iti niratishaye brahmani. So what is the supreme Brahman? Akshare upapannataram visheshanam. Tasyaiva parasya brahmanaha pratideham pratyag atma bhavaha swabhavaha swaha bhavaha swabhavaha adhyatma uchyate. So the inner self is the reality that in each body is the subjective spirit whose culminating aspect is the ultimate Brahman. So adhyatmam is that which feels I, you may say. The sense of subjectivity, right? Note that it is not the one that says I do. It's just the I, right? In the experiential frame, there is an important transition when the I do gives way to I am, right? And in the final experience, the I also goes off and it's just am, right? So if you want to know this business of what Bhagavan is saying here, that last trace of I am is the Adhyatmam, right? Adhyatma uchyate bhuta bhava bhavo bhavakaraha visargaha karma sangita. Work is manifest creation. So bhavakaraha, bhuta bhavo bhavakaraha. So let us see what Bhagavan Shankaracharya here says. Atmanam deham adhikritya pratyag atmataya pravrittam paramartha brahmavasanam vastu svabhavaha adhyatma uchyate. Adhyatma shabdena abhidhiyate. Then he says, Bhuta bhavod bhavakaraha bhutanam bhavaha bhuta bhavaha. Bhutanam bhavaha, that is the shall we say, the nature of the all creation. Tasya udbhavaha, the bringing into existence of all the beings. Bhuta bhavodbhavaha. Tam karoti iti bhuta bhavakaraha. Bhutavastu utpattikaraha ityarthaha. The very thing that brings these bhutas into creation, that is work. Visargaha is visarjanam. Devatodeshena charu puroda shadehe dravyasya parityagaha. What is called work is the offering of prepared oblation directed to divinities. Here it denotes creation. that brings all beings into existence. For this offering is held to be the seed, whence as rain and so forth, all beings immobile and mobile come into existence. Ityartha. Devato Deshana Charupurodashadehe Dravyasya Parityaga. Right. So here this word Visargaha is Devata directed towards the divinities, the offering of prepared oblation. Charu Purodasha Adehe. So in the Yajna, sacrifice, Charu, rice is offered. Right. These are the offerings given in the Yajna. And in an internal sense, these are also the offerings given to the divinities. Because you see in the Chandogya Upanishad says, we take this food, the finest part of the food becomes the mind, right? So this food is given to each of the divinities that are occupying these senses, and its finest part is taken up and becomes the mind. So in that sense, the offerings that are given in the yajna are also being given here, and that is the visarga lakshana. Yajna karma sangitah karma shabditah iti etat. Etasmati bija bhutat vrishtyadi kramena savara jangamani bhutani udbhavanti. So from this bija, the seed is the seed, and then from that vrishti, that is rain, etc., so forth, all beings, mobile and immobile, come into existence. So that is the work. Offering of prepared oblation directed to divinities. So when we, another good reference for this is the Purusha Suktam. So in that, the Purusha Suktam talks about the great sacrifice. Right? And in that it says, Tasmat Yagyat Sarvahutaha. So if you listen to the Purusha Suktam, it contains the essence of this point. What is this work? Right? In that it says, Padoho Asya Bhutani. The feet of this cosmic Purusha are the Bhutani. We just saw this creation. The feet. And that is how the whole Vishwa that we know, the entire world in the waking state, has been created. Both those that are mobile and immobile. This is difficult to actually understand. In the early parts of meditation, you can somehow conceive that the living beings are created from consciousness. Okay? The state of understanding how the seemingly non-living inert elements are also constructed of consciousness is a difficult step to cross. And therefore, taking the Shruti as a starting point is useful. That's definitely, I would say, a difficult step to jump over. The general, a nice analogy that will help you understand that is, just as you take a painting, they say, in Drig Drishya Vivekaha, this analogy is given, I think. In the painting, some parts are colored and some parts are not colored, right? Okay. So similarly, the Lord puts prana in some pieces of this painting, and those pieces we say are living. The other pieces where prana is not there, we say they are not living, right? So this is a useful mental construct to understand how this, here also it is said in the commentary, Sthavaram Jangamam. Sthavaram is immobile, Jangamam is moving. Sometimes it says Jangama, Jangamam, etc. And that in the Purusha Suktam, Sashana, Shani. So that which eats, it does not eat. Both are created. And then it says, Tasmat Yagyat Sarva Hutaha. And there we also learn that the Rucha, you know that a rich is the Rig, we say Rig Ved, but a rich is actually the stanza, the verse itself. Rig Veda is composed of rich. Richas Samani Jagire. So this Purusha first created the rich, the Sama verses, and then also the Yajush. And from this then came all of creation. So Bhagavan is intrinsically referring to these points as to how that is work. So we learned three things. Imperishable is Brahma, the Param Brahman, and the Atma Bhavam, that deep subjective feeling inside, is what we call Adhyatma. And the very process by which all this is coming into existence is the work. Acha. Now, verse 4, please.
अधिभूतं शरो भावं पुरुषः स्वधिदेवितम् अधियज्ञो अहमवेत् पात्रं देह भृतावर.
Deha Bhritamvara. True. So, Adhibhutam Ksharaha. So first he said Brahman is imperishable. The bhutas, Adhibhutas, these elements, and they are perishable. Kshara. Adhibhutam Pranijatam Adhikritya Bhavati Iti. What comes to be depending on living beings? What is that? That perishable entity or whatsoever is born. Ko asau Ksharaha Ksharati Iti Ksharaha Vinashi. Bhava yat kinchit janimat pastu ityartha. That which has a beginning has an end. So whatever is born, that thing is Kshara. The divinities are the spirit. Purushaha cha adhidaivatam. Purushaha purnam anena sarvam iti. Purusha or the spirit is that which fills all, or that which sleeps in the city, reclines in the city. Puri Shayanat va Purushaha. This is a classic one given. The one who sleeps in the city of 9 gates. That is Aditya Antargataha Hiranyagarbhaha Sarva Prani Karananam Anugrahakaha. The Hiranyagarbha installed in the sun who protects instruments of action and cognition. Saha Adhidaivatam. Adi Yajnaha Sarva Yajna Bhimanini Vishnava Kya Devata Yajno Hai Vai Vishnuhu. Taittiriya Samhita. What relates to sacrifices is the deity styled Vishnu, who claims all sacrifices as directed to himself. See, sacrifice indeed is Vishnu. Taittiriya Samhita. Yajno Vai Vishnuhu. Iti Srutehe. This is the Shruti. Sahi Vishnuhu Aham Eva. And that Vishnu is none but myself. Atra Asmin Dehe Yaha Yajnaha Tasya Aham Adhi Yajnaha. I am related to the sacrifice performed by the body. Sacrifice as such is inseparably related to the body, existing in the body, O best of men. Yajnaha ki deha nirvartyatvena. Deha samavayi iti deha adhikaranaha bhavati. Deha bhritamvara. In the body, I alone am related to sacrifices. Any questions on 1 through 4?
Dr. Shankar, quick question. So this Adi prefix, like what Racy told me, means like something of value or like higher order in that sense.
Chief or
But-
principal, huh?
Principle, yes, actually, that's what she said. So, but I did not find these like Adi, Dev, Adi, Bhutam in the previous shlokas so much. So why Arjuna used these words?
So now we are slowly getting deeper. Yeah, the Bhagavad Gita is definitely an interesting text. In chapter 2, all the truth was told. Sankhya Yoga, everything was already revealed. Now, if Arjuna had been um, a sadhak who had already performed all the preparations prior, he had all the yoga attributes, then that 2 would have been enough. After chapter 2, he would have said, I realize the truth, and we would have closed off. Bhagavad Gita would have been very short, right? So what does chapter 2 say? You see here, there he clearly points out what is happening. He says, for instance, that one, the notion that the self is beyond time, right? And he says that all these kings whom you see, they are forever there. It's not like they were not before. It's not that they're not going to be. But at that point, Arjuna doesn't immediately see it, right? So something further, he wants to keep questioning. So now we are getting into the kind of a viewpoint which we will call Srishti Vad. Srishtivad as really the notion of creation. Right? And why is Bhagavan saying this? Because most people cannot get it in chapter 2. Right? So now he's simplifying it and saying, let me now tell you how you see things. He's coming slowly down to Arjuna's level as time goes on to try and explain to him. He says, okay, you see all these things. So now you see your body, you take this to be real. You really think you were born. So now let me explain to you how you work. Right? And then I will then tell you how again you can save. So this will keep recycling through all the things. And so now if you go and read Gaudapadaka's Mandukya Karika, there he talks about Drishti Srishtivad, the opposite, 2 different ways. For the highly enlightened, they don't need this notion of Srishti at all. And he would just say that this is unnecessary. You can keep saying all this stuff. It doesn't matter, right? These are all just stories to amuse the ignorant. He's also right. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that the Bhagavad Gita is not without value, because it helps so much to understand these things, right? So that's why we are seeing more of a Srishtivad type of a philosophy now. And after all, the Gita was meant to be read widely. So he's bringing it to a more, it is in that sense, little less of a philosophical work than say Brahma Sutra Bhashya or the Karika, right? Yeah. Acha. So now he's saying, this is how you see it. You see these, I'm going to tell you that what is this, how to attain this Brahman. But then you see all these other differences. You see elements, you see people, you see creation, you see sacrifice. So let me explain. And if you understand this and then you do your yajna karma, right, then you will truly understand those yajnas. Acha. Now next verse.
I can go, Shankar.
Please.
Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yah prayati samadbhavam yati nastyatra samsayaha.
Very nice. Yes, yes. This is a very clean and relatively easy verse compared to the first 4. Antakale cha mam eva smaran. At the ending time, thinking only of me. Muktva kalevaram. One is released from the body. Yaha prayati. Whoever leaves, sa madbhavam. He comes. Madbhavam yati. He comes only to me. Na asti atra samshaya. There is no doubt about this. Right? So this is the most beautiful verse. What more do you need? The yajna sab pata nahi chala, to at the time of passing, when the time comes to leave the body, if you just remember Bhagavan Sri Krishna or Vishnu, and that's why actually there is a very clear procedure in our, if you read the Apara Kriyas, the Apara Kriya in the Hindu and Vedic tradition does not start with death. It starts before death. Do you know that? The first thing in the Apara Kriya is Snanam. So
Ji.
our ancestors knew when they were going to die. Okay. So they would take bath first. And even there are different kinds of Snanam. Proper Snanam, going to Ganga or whatever Nadi is nearby. If you can't do that, then Bhasma Snanam, putting Bhasma, because if you're old and ability to go to the river is difficult, not possible. Also, another way is give dan and tell Brahmanas to go and take snan on your behalf. Bhasma Snanam, Mantra Snanam, right? All these are given, right? So they would first take this snan as a matter of purification. Remember in Sandhya Vandanam, we know that water is consciousness,
Ji.
right? So first snanam. Then Karna Mantra Japam. In the ear, the son is supposed to lay the head in the lap and give the mantra. Which mantra? Ideally, either Panchakshara, Dwadashakshara, best. If the person is a Brahmavid, knows, then there is a particular Anuvaka of the Vedam that has to be read. But just the name of the Lord is enough. Even if one doesn't say Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, even just the name Krishna, Rama, Vishnu, this is enough, right? Because what happens at the time of this is that the mind, having not left the body all those years, is very attached to the body. It doesn't want to go. It will feel great fear. The fear will be like this: oh, if I leave this body, will I get another body? Literally, this will be the fear. This is Abhiniveshaha. You remember in the Yoga Sutra is one of the kleshas. Swarasavahi vidusho api. Even for the wise, right? This feeling will come. Oh, I'm leaving this body. I don't know where I will go. Will I get another body? Will I return to this body? I spent so much time in this body, right? Don't we get attached to anything we spend a lot of time with? We do, right? So then, when that fear comes, that is when the Yamadutas persecute. Because what is Yama is the great controller, the regulator. He has regulated himself, right? If you're not able to regulate yourself, then the Yamadutas will persecute, right? Then all the stuff that is in the Garuda Puran is not wrong. That's why I say it's worth reading it. It may be, it may cause the mind pain. It may cause the mind disgust. It may be unappealing to the mind, but it is useful because it is not a lie, right? Now, for the Sattvic people, that path is not necessary, but it is also important because our minds are full of three gunas, and there are many whose minds are not always Sattvic. There may be a predominance of tamas or rajas. For them, that's why if we read the Garuda Puran, at least we know what is out there, what is at stake here, right? And so then this makes sense. Now the truth is, even if the Lord's name is taken, he says you will come to me definitely. But the path may still require some effort. You know, there is the story of Ajamila, who at the last minute said, right, he was released, that the Yamadutas will not persecute him. But that doesn't mean immediately, you know, he still has to perform some austerities along the way. That tapas has to be done, right? So what Bhagavan is giving you, he's giving you a password, okay, a magic password. So whatever you might have done at this crucial time, if you remember me, then you are definitely guaranteed a pass, right? Which is a very generous thing, right? Even I don't do that in my classes. You don't have a guaranteed pass. You have to study, right? But Bhagavan is so kind. He says, even if you didn't study, final exam mein mera naam le lo, you're fine. Which is because of his great grace. That is his greatness, right? We are alpa buddhi. We'll say, no, you should do this, do that. He can afford to give that. That is his generosity. Because he is the ultimate controller, right? He can say, yes, I will give you. Because it is in his power to give. So then, but then a sensible human being should ask, well, how will I remember, how am I guaranteed to remember his name? So every time we feel some great distress, it's worthwhile to reflect. If I really wanted to, in great illness, could I remember his name, right? And we should ask ourselves that. I think that's a useful thing. And everybody has to ask that question for themselves. There can be no prescription of this. Somebody might have confidence. Yes, I can remember, right? And that is fine. Somebody might say, no, I have to practice. So this is a very personal thing. But at least this much is true, that at that time, if one remembers, A, you get the free pass, and B, you are saved from all the things in the Garuda Puran, which are described, for those who don't remember. Right? So that's why just listening to the Bhagavad Gita itself, they say, even if you don't understand, suppose you forget everything, and it's hard, right? We've read 8 chapters. Even if everything else is forgotten, if this one point is remembered, you're fine. You really don't have to worry after that, right? After that point, the human being can give up anxiety. I know the Lord's name. Whether I got anything else, I might be a dunce, imbecile. My teachers always told me you're an idiot. My parents told me I'm an idiot. My friends told me I'm an idiot, but I know the Lord's name. I'm safe. Right? That is the power of this blessing that he gives. Right? Har roz, my wife also tells me I'm an idiot. My children tell me I'm an idiot. It's okay. I know the Lord's name. I'm saved. Right? So this is a very powerful. I find it very beautiful. Huh? So,
Dr. Shankar, a quick question on that. So
yes.
basically, remembering Lord's name in the end is basically surrendering, right? Surrendering everything, surrendering the I-ness, like individuality. So there will be no desire, or so to take another form, or right?
I would say that whatever the past thinking has been, right? As I said, at the time of departure, there is going to be fear. Why is there going to be fear?
Because of the uncertainty, what's going to happen?
You hit it on the head. It's the unknown. We don't fear the known, right? Why does the child say monsters, daddy, I'm scared, mommy, I'm scared, it's dark and there? Why? Then you go and shine the light under the bed and say there are no monsters. Correct?
Right.
But insofar as death is concerned, everybody is a child. Because unless you walked into the dark room beyond death, you don't know what is in store. Right?
Right.
So there will be fear, no? It is not a portal that has been crossed. Right? So when the mind leaves the body, there will be a great fear. And I told you the exact fear is this, that I may not get this body again. This body did give me so much pleasure, right? I did enjoy the senses, even though it was paining me towards the end, even though it created all this pain, still the taste for that pleasure is very, very hard to kill, right? That is why in the Yoga Sutra, if you believe the Agamas, it says that Abhinivesha is a very difficult klesha. Even for the Vidusha, even for the wise, it is hard to give up that. So then at that stage, when the mind is confronted, at that instant, forget about the I-ness, you just think of God, right? Lord's name, right? So what he's saying is, it's a simple formula, because at that time, we may not be able to process, right? whatever the karma balance is there, it doesn't matter, right? At that moment, if the Lord's name is taken, the transition is guaranteed to a better place and eventually to Him. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
And to give it another way, what happens if you don't? Okay. If one does not, then as I said, the attachment to the body remains, right? And the fear continues. Then there is some clinging. Then the pranas may leave through one of the other Navadwaras, right? And then there is the whole transition, the departed Preta, their travel through the Vaitarini river, all the way to Yamalok, right? That is described in the Garuda Puran, right? And then the judgment by Yama, etc., etc. So that path is much more painful, tedious, and harder, right? And since we cannot judge, suppose we go into the moment of, you see, it is very difficult to know what is our total karma balance, what all is there. I told you the iceberg is only small amount is in the waking state, so much may be below, right? But what Bhagavan is saying, it doesn't matter. You forget about all that, right? You just take my name at the right time. And at that time, you will be saved and you will come to me. Now, is that a little bit clearer?
Yeah.
Right. So what is the beauty of what Bhagavan is saying is that, and we read earlier, right? What happens to a yogi who does not accomplish in this life? Does he perish like a rent cloud? So Bhagavan says, no. You will pick up all those beautiful samskaras, memories, that bank account. You take birth in a good family of yogis themselves, or in a prosperous family. You have an easy life coming up, and then you pick up exactly the practice where it left off, right? That is much better than, say, taking birth as a small worm or something like that, squashed, dying again. You know what I'm saying? Not only is it a human birth, but it's an elevated human birth. Now, for those who are not satisfied with that, then one can strive further. And definitely, we have the fourfold path, right? Karma, bhakti, jnana, and Raja Yoga, right? So, but it's always good, I feel, being a type who likes to have backup plan. So this is the backup plan, right? If all else fails, you can do this. Don't we agree? Everybody can do this, right? Right. So it's kind of having a nice insurance policy in your pocket, right? So think of it, it's very beautiful. I mean, very practical. I really like the way Bhagavan does this. Acha, so just a little bit of Antaka. Yes, sorry, was there a question?
I have a question, Dr. Sankar.
Please.
So is it actually the fear of death, or is it the fear of the pain or the suffering that comes before death? And
Pain and suffering tend to destabilize the mind. Okay, they cause what is called chitta vikshep. Right. But in my opinion, it is really the fear of losing the body, which has given so much pleasure. Right. The fact that it's kind of this, right? So let's take another example. Let's say that so far you've been drinking some sweet things. You've had honey, you've had milk. They're all very nice, right? And one day somebody says, listen, from now on, you can't have any honey, milk, forget it. Okay. But I will give you something called amritam. Okay. Very delicious, right? But suppose you don't fully trust, right? what if this Amritam is not as good as as it's made out to be, right? If that doubt comes, that's a killer. Right? Right? So by listening again and again, we learn from the Lord that yes, honey and things are definitely my products also, but they're my lower level products, right? If you want the top shelf, the distilled best of the best, then you have to take my name. Right? It's always difficult to give up the familiar, right? Yeah, like when you go away to college or the first time you leave your home, right? It's hard, don't you think? It's because why? It's familiar. It's not that you can't do it. You did it, didn't you? Every time you go into some new experience, you survive it. You do it because you have some confidence. This is a particularly novel experience. That's all. Okay, so antakale api, antakale maranakale cha mam eva parameshwaram vishnum smaran muktva parityajya kalevaram shariram yaha prayati gachati saha madbhavam. So kalevaram is basically body. Prayati is leaves. Gachati. Saha madbhavam vaishnavam tattvam yati. He comes to my very essence, my status. Na asti, na vidyate, that does not exist. Atra, here. Asmin arte samshayaha. In this truth, there is no doubt. Yati va, na va iti. No doubt, that is as to whether he proceeds or not to that truth. Then Bhagavan gives. Now he says, this is a universal rule. Na mad vishaya evam eva ayam niyamaha. Kim tarhi. This law has no exclusive application to myself. On the contrary, please read 6.
I can go.
Please.
Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tam tamevaiti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavitaha.
Very beautiful. Yam yam vapi. What is remembered? Smaran bhavam tyajati ante kalevaram. That he gives up at the time of the ending of the body. Tam, that, why, verily, iti Kaunteya, verily, son of Kunti, sada, always, tad bhavam, bhava bhavitaha. He takes on the form conforming to that being. Remembering whatever being one gives up the body at the end, that very being one reaches, O Arjuna, ever conforming to that being. So there are many examples, right? Jada Bharata, he was very attached, very great Brahmin sage, but then he started taking of a deer, care of a deer, and he got attached to the deer. And at the time of departure, he thought of the deer, and so he became a deer, right? So that's why what we remember at the time of departure is very important. So yam iti, remembering, thinking, yam yam vapi, yam yam bhavam, devata vishesham smaran. Whatever being or particular deity, chintayan, tyajati, thinking one leaves, parityajati, ante, antakale, prana viyoga kale. When the pranas, up with the mind, they leave the body. Kalebaram shariram, tam, that eva smritam bhavam, whatever that remembered form, being, eva eti, one attains. Na anyam kaunteya, not another. Sada sarvada tad bhava bhavitaha. For one conforms oneself tasmin, to that repeated, tasmin bhavaha tad bhavaha. Saha bhavitaha smaryamanataya abhyastaha yena saha tad bhava bhavitaha sa. One conforms oneself to that repeatedly remembered being. Yasmat evam anya bhavana dehantara prapto karanam. Since thus the causes the assumption of a new body. So if one thinks of Indra, one attains the state of Indra. If one thinks of Agni, one attains the state of Agni. Right? Whichever deity. But Bhagavan says, better you think of the imperishable me, and that way you will not go to some lower deities thing, because they are all subject to the law of Brahma till the end. Right? So that mumukshutvam will not be accomplished if some other deity is thought of. The Saguna aspect of the Aksharam, Brahman, Parabrahman, is Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. Of these, the meditation on Brahma is not recommended, because Brahma is typically Rajasic guna and will only result in another creation. Right? Further entrapment. Only the Asuri Bhavas worshipped Brahma. You remember in the Puranas, it's always the Rakshasas and Daityas, Danavas, Asuras who worship Brahma. They perform great tapas, they're very powerful. Don't underestimate Asuras, very powerful, right? They can come all the way up to Devalok and trouble, right? So they can control Bhur Bhuva Suva if they want. In a human body, if we allow the Asuric tendency to dominate, it can come all the way up to Swargalok and drive out the Devas, right? Only when you see those three characteristics, Vita, Raga, Bhaya, Krodha. Bhaya is in the Mooladharam. Ragam is in the Swadhishthanam. Krodham is in the Manipurakam. Until the consciousness elevated above those three, one cannot be finally sure of the means to conquer the Asuras. Asuras can exist and dominate those three. Asuri Bhav. Only when it comes up to Anahata and the love, that's why we say God is love. Beyond that point, then the Asuras cannot do much, because they are confined to those lower three. They cannot come beyond that where the Siddhas live, right? And so Bhagavan is saying that, better you choose something that is higher than, and so of the remaining two in the Trimurti, Vishnu and Maheshwara. So that's why they say Dwadashakshari or Panchakshari. Either of those productive of the highest goal. So I think let us read 7 to kind of conclude. We are a little over time, but I think 7 brings it to a nice conclusion. So if somebody would read.
I can read.
Please.
Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mama anusmara idhyacha mayarpita manobuddhihi mame vaishyasya samsayaha.
Tasmat, therefore, sarveshu kaleshu, at all times, mam anusmara, remember me, and fight, yudhya. So all whatever battles we have to fight in the world, whether they are glorious battles on Kurukshetra or some minor battles, right? With our family, right? I'm not recommending them, but Mai arpitam mano buddhihi mameva eshyasi asamshaya. So, Mai arpita, dedicating your mind and your buddhi to me, rid of all doubts. Asamshaya, mameva eshyasi, you will reach me indeed. So, a nice concluding verse to the first 6. Therefore, at all times remember me, as the Shastras prescribe. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yatha shastram yudhya cha yudham cha swadharmam kuru. Do your swadharma, perform your duty. Mai vasudeve arpite manobuddhi yasya tava saha tvam mai arpita manobuddhihi san mameva yathasmrutam eshyasi agamishyasi asamshaya cha na samshaya. atra vidyate kincha. Because, always we say, kayena vacha manasendriyeva buddhyatmana va prakriti svabhava karomi yajyat sakalam parasme narayana samarpyami. So even saying all our karmas, performing them and doing that arpanam is a surefire way. That's why we do it, right? Thinking and remembering that it is not the little I that acts. There is something greater power that is actually responsible for the seeming performance of actions, right? And therefore, keeping Bhagavan in our mind at all times, performing for dharma, one easily reaches the goal. Any questions on 1 through 7 of this chapter?
Yes. Professor, I have a few questions. I'll try to write it down and send to you.
Sure, as you wish. Yeah, maybe you can send the group and we can, or whatever, as you
Yes,
find
sir.
it. Now, so yeah, I thought so far quite simple and straightforward. So anything else? Any further? Yes.
So Dr. Sankar, that we are reading the chapter called Yoga of Concentration.
Mhm.
Is that the remembering of the Lord? Is that kind of related, like keeping Lord all the time?
Indeed. Yes. Yes. You can definitely take 7 in that spirit, right? Um, and and through it, Bhagavan gives other insights undoubtedly, but indeed, you may say you're right that meditating on the Saguna form of the Lord, keeping that foremost in one's mind, is a guaranteed passport to his abode. Any other questions?
No, sir.
Okay. Acha, anyone else? Okay. If not, we will say our final mantram, bye-bye, and then see you in a week, right? Okay. Om Tachamyora Vrinimahe Gatum Yajnaya Gatum Yajnapataye Daivi Swastirastunaham Swastirmanushebhyah Urdhvam Jigatu Bheshajam Shanno Astu Dvipadehe Sham Chatushpade Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaste everyone. See you in a week.